It was a game with some pretty wild, extended runs by both teams. What's your takeaway as you kind of process all that happened in the 48 minutes?
I thought, obviously, really good job out of halftime. After what was a rough second quarter, or end of the second quarter, I thought we played a pretty good game outside of that 6-minute stretch where they really opened the game up there. But we came out of halftime and made that a game and got it within striking distance very quickly and able to take a 1-point game to the fourth, which, with where we were at halftime, is all you could ask for.
Last 5 minutes or so, do you think the opportunity for guys who aren't always in maybe more elevated positions for your team to get that late game experience, to be able to take a look on tape, is the way that you guys executed your system down the stretch?
I mean, most of those guys are usually, are out there a good amount and have been out there a good amount. So I thought they out-executed us down the stretch on both ends. But we put ourselves in a position to try to win the game, which is all you could ask for when you're down by 20 at one point. So certainly things we can learn from. But I didn't think it was an inexperienced thing. I thought it was an execution thing.
Well, with Shea, obviously, he was a fairly late scratch. I guess what were the conversations like with his injury, and I guess when did you decide that he would be going tonight?
It was the exact timeline we gave you guys, right? So he was fine this morning. When he came here, he was sore, and so we listed him at that point. He wanted to go through his warm-up. He did, and after the warm-up, we ruled him out. So it was the same as what we told you pregame.
And obviously, with Shea being out, unique opportunity for Daigneault to kind of take on some of that on-ball pressure, maybe unlike some of what he's seen all season, just to the degree he received it. Did any of the way Dallas defended him feel reminiscent of the second round and all the coverages then?
No, I didn't think that was the case tonight. I thought it was a different game, to be honest with you.
So I guess what did you see from him as far as his floor game, the way he processed, just everything that came with that?
Yeah, I thought he had 5 turnovers early, so that wasn't ideal. But, I thought he settled into the game pretty well. And I thought our attacks were pretty strong outside of, like I said, the 6-minute mark in the second quarter. That was a rough stretch for us. But outside of that, I thought we had pretty good attacks, generated pretty good shots, obviously made a good amount of them coming out of halftime. That was what allowed us to get back in the game.
Speaking of the attacks, knew it was going to be tough in the paint without Shea, best driver in the NBA. 11 of 33, what do you feel like was the biggest issue for you guys?
Some of it was just selection, I thought. I thought there were some opportunities, especially that second quarter, where we could have sprayed the ball out. Some of that's being available on the perimeter. So it's a combination of our spacing and then finding those perimeter outlets. But I thought we shot some tough ones in there. It wasn't all point-blank layups or something like that. It really wasn't even rim shots. I thought there was a lot of mid-paint shots that we ended up settling for. So, it wasn't our best offensive night. But like I said, I was pretty pleased that we gave ourselves a chance.
Did you feel like it was more you guys than what the Mavs were doing?
Well, obviously, yeah. Gafford deters stuff around the basket, and they do a good job of keeping him low and keeping him around the basket. We figured out, ways to attack that we got to on some possessions tonight. We didn't get to in others, but obviously could have played better on offense tonight.
4 takes, one being the flop being 10. I believe it's the most in a game in your tenure. Does this game feel like it had a little bit more extra animosity to it, considering this was the team that put you guys out in the playoffs?
I didn't think it was related to Dallas per se. I thought it was just more, it was a heightened game, but, we've had heightened games against other teams.
What did you see with some of the turnovers in the first half?
Yeah, a little uncharacteristic for us. We're usually a pretty good ball security team, and that was a huge part of the first half. And then, I don't know what we had at halftime, but it was up there. And then in the second half, we played really clean. I don't think we had any turnovers in the third. And that gave us a good chance. We were getting shots on goal every single time. So that was a huge part of the first half, especially the second half of the second quarter. And once we settled into that and got better shots, we were better off.
Coach, just from an execution standpoint, what did you make of just those handful of possessions down the stretch? And, obviously came up short, but what did you make of just the way they played out?
Obviously they did a good job defensively. That we had a hard time cracking them there and getting penetration. The game usually grinds into more of a possession game at that point, and that's where execution is paramount on both ends of the floor. And that's why I said, I thought they out-executed us down the stretch of the game on both ends. I thought they did a better job forcing us to earn it, in our offensive possessions, and then they made us pay, for our mistakes on the other end of the floor with good ball movement and shot making.
And then also just in the first half, just what you saw from Osman Gay, coming from G League and getting that big spot there, kind of giving you guys a bit of a spark there.
Yeah, I thought BC, those guys did a good job for us tonight. But yeah, he played his minutes well. He's been with the G League for 6 or 7 games now, and got himself primed up coming off the injury that he had. And so clearly, made the most of those minutes. I think he's played more minutes than anybody in our program over the last 2 weeks. So he obviously was ready to go. He did a good job in the first half.
Mark, what have you seen from Gable's fit with the starters these last couple of games?
Say that one more time.
What have you seen from Gable's fit with the starters these last couple of games?
Yeah, he's done a nice job. I mean, he's done what he's always done. He started so many games a couple of years ago. We kind of know what he brings, and he plays in character regardless of what his role is. But he played a really good game and was obviously a huge catalyst for us coming out of halftime. He was a huge reason why we got back in the game with the shot making and just overall intensity.
We mentioned the text, but just the number of rush-ups across the game, did it feel excessive to you at any point?
No, it was a physical game. It's just one of those, sometimes the game just, that's what happens inside the game, and that's what I thought tonight. I didn't think it wasn't anything crazy, to be honest with you.
More specifically with James Williams and Lou kind of in the first half, what were the conversations like between you and James maybe, and I guess what did you see unfold between them that made it feel like Lou was kind of getting some of those whistles, especially early on?
I don't know where James Williams is this year, but he's traditionally one of the highest tech crew chiefs in the league, so I don't think that was out of the ordinary for him. He's a pretty quick trigger with that.
What do you think about you guys' physicality?
I thought pretty good. I thought we played a pretty good overall game outside of that stretch in the second quarter. Like I said, I thought we were out of character on both ends of the floor for those 6 minutes, but outside of that, we had good control of the game. We had a lead after the first. We did a great job coming out of halftime. We won the second half, so did a lot of good things, but, just had a stretch there that hurt us. But otherwise, I thought, we were pretty physical and pretty good.
In games like this, where it's like a quick whistle early on, do you feel like it's tougher to adjust to the quick whistle the rest of the game?
I don't think they had a quick whistle early. I thought that was part of why the physicality got high. I thought that was part of why there was a little bit of extracurricular stuff. There was a lot of stuff they were letting go that they were deeming marginal. So I actually disagree with that. I don't think the whistle was tight at all.
You're 7-1 on the second night of a back-to-back. What have you seen from this team this whole season about responding to games so quickly?
Yeah, great professionalism, to get ourselves ready for another battle. I thought we battled all the way through tonight. I thought the competitiveness was really, really good. And we brought that again tonight. And then great mentality, and understanding, we got to use our legs, use our depth when the schedule's condensed or when we're in a back-to-back. And I thought we did that again tonight. We used 10 guys, and everybody that went in there gave us a little bit of a bump.
Anyone else? Thank you, Coach.